Think business advice is all the same? Think again. We're cutting through the noise and getting straight to the strategies that drive real results. I didn't have the luxury of being selective about clients. I wasn't good, right?
I knew we were in a good place as a company when I was able to fire clients.
Yeah. Welcome to enVisioning Success. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of enVisioning Success. My name is Laura DiBenedetto. I am joined by Julia Becker-Collins. We love doing this show. Yep, that's how this day is going. We love doing this show for you. And we have fun. We don't edit out the stupid bloopers because whatever. We're humans here. We're here to have some fun. So today we're going to be talking about how firing clients can be the best growth strategy. Does it mean to set your company on fire? No, it means taking out the trash. Sometimes we have clients from hell. Sometimes I'm actually thinking of a friend of mine here in Jacksonville. She works at a big marketing agency and they have one of the largest credit unions in the area as their client. That client pays half of what everybody else does. This agency makes absolutely $0 on this, but they keep it as a show-off piece, except they're hemorrhaging because they're keeping this client. Now, is it a good decision to keep this account? I'm not inside the agency, but from what I can tell, it appears to be a bad decision. Not only are they not making a single dollar on it, it's actually sapping their resources so they can't invest all their resources in loving on their other clients that they do make money on better and getting better results for everybody. Oh, and worse, this big client, they're ungrateful assholes and they're not even nice to the people at the agency.
Nope. Hard no. Absolutely not. Immediately no. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
So
immediately jail.
I love that. So when we think about a client like that, right, you're listening to this, you're like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Why would they keep them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, sure, I'm sure that there's a logical reason why the agency chooses to keep them. But I got to tell you, if you're not making money on it and it's not really turning out to be the big showpiece that you thought it would be, are you actually using this? Well, I got insider information, and let's put it this way. This is probably one of the worst decisions that this agency is making, and it's actually holding them back from success. The staff is miserable. The staff wants to quit. My friend has been there for like 10 years, and she wants out. You really want to lose your best staff members because you're keeping a client from hell that you don't even make money on? You sure?
I knew we were in a good place as a company when I was able to fire clients.
Yeah. And you know what? To be clear, like I remember when I started the company years ago, I didn't have the luxury of being selective about clients. It wasn't good, right? I was new. I think I have to sneeze. Oh.
Well, now you don't because you said something.
I know. I'm going to try really hard not to. But we had a whole bunch of clients. Some were really fantastic. Some were less than. And sometimes we had clients who, they just didn't get it. That's okay. Sometimes they underfunded their programs. Do I blame the clients? Absolutely not. I blame myself, actually, because as the business owner, my job was to grow the agency. And a lot of the times when I was first getting the company going, what feels like 1,000 years ago, money was green. I took anybody and everybody. And there's a time in your business where that doesn't really work anymore. Mm-hmm. And you have to be more selective about who you work with because it actually helps you to grow. Now that we're very selective about who we work with because we have the luxury of being selective, our clients stay longer, our staff stays longer. And it's a great, my company is growing up type of decision to be able to, get rid of the clients who are abusive. Mm-hmm. So the staff appreciates that. Or the clients who, for whatever reason, they're not maybe a good fit. Maybe it's not a good personality fit. Maybe they don't want to invest appropriately with you. Maybe they always nickel and dime you. Sometimes they're just awful on the phone. Not every business owner is great. They're just not. But then again, we also have some clients who aren't really the ideal on paper, but they're the most awesome human beings ever. They're a pleasure to work with. We love working with them, and we choose, which ones we really want to keep. So it's about curating the kind of business we want to have versus anybody and everybody, which is actually where we started, and I'm not sorry. So everybody starts somewhere. So the very first thing here is identifying your draining clients, right? And this feels like a really insulting episode. And even as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh man, I'm shitting on clients. And I'm really not. I'm so grateful for all the people over the years who have given us a chance. And we've been able to knock some incredible wins out of the park. And I'm so grateful for that. But sometimes people outgrow us. Sometimes we outgrow them, and that's okay. But in the case of my friend's agency, where there's that big client, they're a big drain. And there's not a return on the investment financially or otherwise. So maybe in your case, it's just one account that would really set you free. We talked about, I think it was the last episode, we talked about a scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. If you really believe that you're able to grow and that there's enough out there for everybody and that you're capable of increasing the size of your company, whatever it is that you do, you'll easily know who your draining clients are. The ones who take up too much time, or they just pay too little, or sometimes consistently cause problems. You do have to recognize the opportunity cost that you're paying and recognize the cost of keeping them. Are you making your team miserable? Are you losing money on this? Are you wishing that the day would end? That's not a great way to go about your business. That sucks. You shouldn't dread going to work. It's your company.
And then oftentimes or sometimes what happens is that people fall trap to, well, we've already invested so much time and money. I don't want to walk away from it, etc. And let me introduce you to the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
Getting a Harvard MBA over here without spending a dime. The sunk cost fallacy, in short, is that you think that because you have spent so much time or money on something, you have to keep doing it because otherwise you will lose your sunk costs. Sunk costs are money you've already spent, time you've already spent. But in actuality, walking away is more cost efficient, profit efficient, etc. Because if you have already sunk costs into something that's not working, then it's not going to work in the future.
Yep. Yeah, I saw this really awesome thing. It was actually relevant to romantic relationships. That was the point. But it's sometimes you go down the wrong path. Mm-hmm. But the sooner you get off of it, the sooner you can get on the right path. And it's let's say you're in a 10-year marriage, right? If you knew at year 2 that it was bad, why did you stay those extra years? Those extra 8 years weren't serving you. Well, the same applies to business. If you're in a relationship with a client who takes up too much time, pays too little, consistently causes problems, and you don't cut that off, you're kind of a fool.
It's the same with staff. It's people think, oh, well, I spent all this time and money training them and onboarding them, and I bought them a laptop, et cetera, so I need to keep them. No, absolutely not. This goes back to a previous episode, which I can't remember what number. I know Laura's very upset, disappointed in me. I know. But we talked about hire slow, fire fast, which is not a concept I came up with or terminology I came up with, but it is something that we do here. And it's something I very much believe in, because when you realize somebody is absolutely not a good fit for your company for whatever reason, it's time to cut your losses and move forward. And oftentimes in corporations, that is not what happens, and you are losing money.
Yeah. You don't want to do that at all. Let's move on.
Moving on to number 2, you want to set minimum standards. Really, I would say probably above minimum. So you don't want to be bottom of the barrel, but your clients need to meet you in a certain place. And if they aren't, then it's starting to look like you got to go back to actionable tip number 1 about identifying your draining clients. But when you're setting those minimum standards, you want to establish those clear guidelines for the type of clients you want to work with and the ones you won't work with. And the types of clients and the guidelines could include budget, fit, cultural fit, personality fit. Do you even want to talk to this person? How well do they communicate? Do they just ghost you and then suddenly come back and expect that everything's an emergency for you? What are their values? If you are a values-driven company and their values don't align with yours, that's not a fit. It's the puzzle pieces need to fit together, basically.
And a mature business and a mature business owner will realize the value of these minimum standards, and they can, at the first time that you institute these minimum standards, most people feel like an asshole. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm cruel for excluding people. You're not cruel. You're a business owner and it's your obligation. That's what growth is. So just be kind to yourself. So the third thing here, I kind of touched on it a little bit already, is calculate your opportunity cost. You have to actually write it out how it's hurting you. So you need to show how keeping these bad clients, bad doesn't mean they're bad people, prevents you from taking on better, more aligned opportunities. One of the best things that you can do, believe it or not, you can use ChatGPT for this. You can say, hey, listen, I've extolled its virtues before. Hang out with the robot. At this point, I'm calling it Rosie the robot. If you're a Jetsons fan, if you're old enough, not the, remember the TV show with, Elroy and Rosie? Yep. So
I hear the theme song in my head right now.
Yep.
His boy, Elroy.
Yep. Exactly. If we could somehow put the theme song in here without infringing on copyright, I'd be thrilled.
I feel like we can.
No, I don't see it happening, but thank you for singing it just a little bit.
You're welcome.
So you have to think about calculation and have ChatGPT do that. Actually say to ChatGPT, here's an example of the prompt. I would like to calculate the opportunity cost of a client that is potentially not a good fit for me. Can you help me do that by asking me 10 clear questions to help me determine if this client is making me money or costing me money? And then just go through the logical exercise.
Yep. Yeah.
I do love Rosie.
I think I would call mine whatever the Terminator's name is in Terminator.
Wasn't it the Terminator?
I don't know. Arnold.
What was the Terminator's name?
What does it say?
It's called the Terminator.
No. Maybe I'll just name mine Arnold. Arnold. A-H. Arnold.
I am the Terminator.
I'll be back. Or I'll just name it Evil Overlord. That would also be good.
Use that a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're going to love this one coming straight out of Julia's mouth. Number 4.
Fire gracefully. This applies to not only staff, but also to clients if you decide to fire them. You need to provide problematic clients that don't meet that minimum, that are draining you, that you have no opportunity cost on, right? Like it's not working out. You need to provide them with a clear and respectful exit strategy. You can't just cut them off and be like, peace. I mean, you could, but you don't want to burn bridges, and you want to do things with integrity. That's a big thing here at Vision. And, your reputation, especially in a service-based industry, that's all you have is your reputation. So even if it doesn't work out, you need to be able to have that conversation and, lovingly offboard them.
Mm-hmm. When you fire someone as a client, I mean, it sounds like, you're fired is always an angry thing. Sometimes it's a parting of the ways or going in a different direction, or it's just not a fit anymore. If you preserve your relationship, you can actually continue your relationship. You can continue to refer to each other. You can refer them to another partner. Maybe let's say you are not able to service accounts that small anymore. Okay, fine. So you could refer them to someone else who can do that. you look like a rock star in doing that, you can keep your relationship and they may even refer to you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no good to be had in being a jerk about this. Grace, class, respect, all of those things are really important.
Yep.
Big fan.
What's
So the
number
last
5?
thing here is focusing on attracting your dream clients. So we've talked about this before, go back to the avatar episodes, but you really, really want to focus on using marketing to target clients who do align with your business's values, your goals, and ensuring a really good long-term fit. Some great examples of some good shared values would be, in the case of marketing and what it is that we do, one of the values is we trust people and we don't employ micromanagement. We don't micromanage our staff. And we also really don't want to be micromanaged. We want to work with clients who are excited to trust us. Mm-hmm. Trust is our one of our biggest core values, trust and integrity. They're kind of two sides of the same coin. So when we work with people who value integrity as much as we do, they are excited when we work very hard to build a genuine relationship with them and earn their trust. We want to earn their trust. We also want to trust them because in a great relationship, it's a two-way street. It's, it's enjoyable. We can, have a nice, easy, fluid relationship where the staff enjoys working with them. And there's a lot of integrity back and forth and a lot of trust. So they let us do our jobs. We, trust them to go do the sales stuff and hold up their end of the bargain. That's huge for us, right? If, political values were something that was important to us as a company, that would be, one of the benchmarks. It's not. We're politically agnostic. We don't get into that shit. We have people all over the political spectrum in our company, so we don't get into that. We're here to actually help people make a lot of money and focus on business. And that's also another value of ours is that agnostic stance. So if we work with a company that's like, oh, I only want to work with a very highly progressive company, well, then we're not the company for you because we're actually very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to think about, also the goals that you have for your company. Like, are you trying to align like we are? We want to work with businesses that are excited about the future and want to build something that's like much, much bigger. We to the point where we constantly have conversations with clients about their exit strategy from their business. Mm-hmm. We help clients get ready to sell their companies a lot. Mm-hmm. It's staggering how often it happens. So it's like, well, that's how long we keep our clients. So like we're in it for like long-term loving relationships. Hey, we just got met, we met, let's get married, Right. Sometimes I've worked with people in the past without realizing it. They would just fire their agency periodically because they just wanted a fresh take. That goes against my value system. We believe in relationships and things improving over time, not just throwing things away because they don't, I don't know. They're not new and shiny anymore.
Right.
Anything you want to add to that?
No. I feel like that's a full lid.
It is. Cool. Well, on that note, my lovely friend, thank you so much for listening to our show. We really do appreciate you. And, this marketing thing, it doesn't have to be hard. It really doesn't have to be hard. The whole reason why we have jobs is because it often is hard. And we like to make it easy for people. And that's one thing that we're uniquely good at. There's a lot of charlatans out there, a lot of people who say they're really good at this stuff and they're just not. So if you have questions, we're always happy to answer them, even if you never hire us. Integrity really is everything that we stand for. We're all about saying the truth, even if it makes people a little squirmy. We're all about doing the right thing, serving you, helping you. And if you have a question about your relationship with your agency, we're happy to help you. If you have a question about your marketing program and how it's going, we're happy to help you. If you'd actually like us to get in the weeds and serve you on a consistent basis, we'd be thrilled to do that too. So please be sure to go to vision-advertising.com when you think you might like some help. You're ready to grow your company on easy mode. On that note, over and out. We'll see you in the next episode. I can't wait to see what this next arc is going to be. I have no idea. I'm going to use Rosie to help me figure it out.
Arnold
the Terminator. All right, folks. You be good. Go raise some hell. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
We'll be back.
Yes, we will.